Jack Graham, welcome to A Live Photo.
Well, thank you so much for your invitation. I'm honored to be here.
Tell me when you got your first camera.
I didn't even remember what it was. It was one of those little Kodak cameras with the flash tubes on top.
You had to lick the
Yeah,
flash, right, for it to work?
you did to make sure the contacts
Yeah.
work.
Tell me a little bit about your ethos of using music as a metaphor.
I've heard a lot of really and worked with a lot of really great singers
Hmm.
who had some really bad bands and some bad arrangers. So the singer is the subject, the orchestra is the background. And conversely, some really bad singers had great arrangers and
Huh.
great bands. And so, when they both work together is when it sounds really good.
Nice.
When you have a good subject and good light is when things happen.
Speak a little bit about that, the balance or the correlation between this part of your brain that's wired for music and this part of your brain that's wired to express artistically through
Well,
photography.
this
Yeah.
left brain and right brain thing, we all have, those of us who have one, we all have left brains and right brains. And, when I have a workshop and I have 8 engineers, I know that it's going to take me a day to get those guys creative.
Hmm.
Um, when I have other artists, at that point I need to know, well, maybe technically they need to be a little more analytical. But being able to use both sides at the same time is extremely important. I always tell folks that they need to know how their camera works. They need to know inherently whether to compensate, what to do here, what to do there, so that the creative process can flow. That's where I see people needing the most help, is seeing the images and being creative.
Speak a little bit about how photography affects you personally, how it affects the way that you see the world.
Oh, man. When I drive down to the store, I see photographs. I've heard from the time I was a little kid, when I started playing the trumpet, that, boy, you were born with that talent. Well, I'm not so sure about that. I think you have to be born with the passion. But I think you can learn to play an instrument. I think you can learn to see a photograph. I think you can develop your own vision. It's not going to happen overnight. It might be tomorrow,
Hmm.
might be a year from now, but you'll figure it out. And you can learn to see, but
Hmm.
you have to appreciate some of the nuances that I think people don't, in their busy lives, just drive past.
So maybe speak to how photography slows you down from an otherwise busy life.
Funny you would say that. There's three things I stress on my workshops. One is slowing down.
Hmm.
The other one is slowing down. And the other one is slowing down. I really enjoy the experience of being out. If I get some photographs, so be it. But, they say the hunt is more fun than the kill sometimes. Well, to me,
Good.
being in the moment,
Hmm.
being in the location,
Speak a little bit to some of your favorite places.
you got to let me do two. One is the Pacific Northwest, where I'm living, Olympic National Park, in the rainforest and the ocean, and probably the Southwest in the spring. I enjoy
Hmm.
being in the Four Corners area in the springtime, and I think we might even have some good wildflowers down there this year. So I would say those two areas, if I had to be pinned down,
Hmm.
would be it.
Can you think of a specific time when you're in the field with your camera and you just thought, man, I am really alive right now?
I was in Iceland last summer, and we were walking through some of the Icelandic horses who will just come up to you like trained,
Hmm.
well-behaved dogs and want to get pet and put their head right next to you, and they're really cool. They began to run, and they began to run toward me, and I totally forgot that I had a very wide-angle lens on. I think it was about 35 millimeters, and I just started shooting at these guys. So when I took a few frames, I put the camera down, and they were about 10 feet away from me. Luckily, they split. I was okay. But the heart was going, and I was hoping I got a shot, and I did get a decent shot at it. But it was the exciting moment, I think, of
Hmm.
last
Is there anything else that comes to your mind in terms of just the experience for you personally?
I'm sitting in my office today processing national park permit paperwork. And I'm looking outside in this beautiful light, and I know where I really want to be. And it's eating away at me a little bit. But I just like being out. I like being in the moment. I love being with groups of people and communicating uh, and giving back a little bit. I mean, I'm just very fortunate to live this life.